Welcome back to the Boot Tragedies. The Saints just won't stop trading. With the biggest shock in the NFL draft for the Saints so far, in my opinion, the Saints trade up to get the 127 pick. They only give up the 227, the 7th-round pick this year, and the next year's 4th. So basically, they just swapped 4th-round picks, and they gave up a 7 to move back up in the draft, still keeping their 5th-round pick this year. So just from a trade standpoint, Saints absolutely fleeced the Jaguars. Maybe the Jaguars just didn't have anybody on their board right there remaining, so they just basically gave the Saints a 4th-round pick. And guess what? We'll take it. Credit to Mickey Loomis and those guys to working the phones, seeing if you can get a trade done. But this pick was very, 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 very interesting, to say the least. I was not expecting this pick whatsoever. And the Saints selected quarterback Jake Haener, Fresno State. This is one of the most confusing picks I've seen from the Saints in the draft. They obviously did their homework on a quarterback. They traded up to get him. And I just don't know too much about him. I did not watch 1 second of Fresno State football, but we'll talk about him, man. A quarterback, he's undersized. I keep seeing already, it's been, 2 minutes since he's been drafted. A lot of people have been comparing him to Drew Brees just because he's undersized, doesn't have the strongest arm, but he's smart. They say he has, he's nice with his pre-snap adjustments, his pre-snap plans, and things like that. But let's slow down. We're not going to compare a 4th-round quarterback to Drew Brees, one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play this game. Just because a guy's 6 feet, 5'11", or however tall he is, doesn't mean he's automatically going to be Drew Brees. He weighed in at 207, height at 6 feet on the dot at the combine. So, the stature is Drew Brees-esque, but the play, let's slow down on that. Now, can he be a good quarterback? I'm sure he can. You won't get drafted in the 4th round if you don't have some potential, to be a good quarterback. Now, let's talk about it. He played at Washington his freshman year. I'm just looking at his stats right now. Didn't really get to play much. Only played in 3 games, had 9 completions. Then he ended up going to Fresno State, where he played 6 games as a sophomore or a junior year, whatever you want to call it. 150 completions, 232 attempts, 64.7 completion percentage, 2,021 yards and 14 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Then the next year, at Fresno State, he played in 13 games, 329 completions, 490 attempts, 71.1 completion percentage. That's pretty good. 4,096 yards, 33 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. That's excellent. That's super excellent. And then his senior year, I guess he got a COVID year because it says senior year twice. He had 252 completions, 350 attempts, 72 completion percentage, 2,896 yards, 20 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. That's great numbers. First thing that jumps off the screen right now is that completion percentage, almost a 70% career completion percentage. That is hard to do. I see why they say that's Drew Brees-esque. Drew Brees was around a 70% completion percentage throughout his career. Not saying this guy's Drew Brees by any stretch of the imagination, but I see how those comparisons come about if he's throwing those intermediate routes, those short routes, getting guys open, taking what the defense gives him. I can see that. Now, like I said, I've been just drafting, positional needs and things like that for the Saints. We took a defensive tackle, a defensive end, then we took a running back, then we took a guard. Now we take a quarterback. This one is not one I think that we needed. Obviously, we didn't need this. We got Derek Carr. We signed Jameis Winston. You have Taysom Hill kind of in that role as well. But this is a guy that they can develop. He's not going to play for at least 2 to 3 years if he gets to play. That's just obvious. He's not going to get to play. We got Derek Carr for at least, 2 years. It's a lot of guaranteed money. I think that contract is at minimum 2-year deal for Derek Carr. Jameis Winston backup career is probably over with the Saints after this season. I'm assuming they're going to let him back up Derek Carr this year. Have Jake Haener, just kind of learn the system, be a practice squad guy, just be a guy on the roster, available if something drastic happens with the quarterback situation. So I'm not super mad at the pick because eventually, Derek Carr's not the youngest man in the world as well. So you want to have a good backup. And even if he never becomes a starting quarterback in this NFL, if he become a top 10, top 5 backup in the NFL, that's just as important as having a starting quarterback. I definitely do. I won't say I like the pick. I won't say I hate the pick, but it's an interesting pick. It's a very, very interesting pick. If he can develop to become a solid backup quarterback, maybe a reliable starter for 2 or 3 games here or there, then great. If you, can develop to be a starting quarterback, even better. But you just can't put that pressure on a 4th-round quarterback, a guy that's undersized already. But you never know. You never know how it's going to play up. I don't know who's going to develop him on the team. We're going to have to see, what the Saints do with development-wise. But he's going to be on the team this year. He get to learn the system, get to learn from Derek Carr, get to learn from Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston also get to learn from Taysom Hill. So he's going to have a lot of quarterbacks in that room. So basically, he gets a lot of help from a lot of different people, which is good for a young quarterback. Apparently, he's a smart quarterback, has a very, very high IQ. I can't wait to turn on the tape because quarterbacks, hey, man, I can't wait to see what he can do. Can't wait to see, what throws he make, what throws he can't make, how the accuracy is. Is he just a check down guy? Can he throw the deep ball? Can he not throw the deep ball? It's all gonna be fun when I definitely dive into his film. I got a lot of film to watch, man. I gotta watch Old Dominion. I gotta watch Fresno State. That's what I love about the NFL draft. They had me watching Weber State with Rashid Shaheed last year. So you just never know who your team's gonna draft. This is a guy that was never even on my radar as a prospect. So we'll see what he can do, man. But the Saints select a quarterback. I think this is the biggest surprise of the draft so far, at least when it comes to the Saints. And we'll see what happens with him. Like I was saying earlier in the offseason, before I get out of here, man, Mickey Loomis, Dennis Allen, man, make y'all bed and lay in it. Y'all are drafting who y'all want. I'm not saying I have a problem with the guys y'all are drafting, but you got a defensive tackle, a defensive end, a running back, a guard, a versatile guard, I may add. Now you have a quarterback. Hey, you're getting the guys you want, and you're traded up for the guard and the quarterback, which is, hey, you better be sure in these. I mean, if you're trading up for a fourth-round pick, so it's not like you trade up in the first round to get a quarterback. That you have to be sure in. But you're trading up to get these guys. You're giving up picks, later in the rounds, which I don't think that they're super, super valuable anyway. But hopefully these picks work out. But I do have to give them credit. They're being aggressive, and they're sticking to the draft board. Obviously, these are guys they wanted. The guard from Old Dominion, this quarterback, they obviously really wanted these guys, or you wouldn't trade up in the draft to get them. A lot of mocks I've seen with Jake Haener had him going 5th or 6th round. The Saints had a 4th round grade on him, obviously. So, hey, that's what they did. And I'm not going to question the player. I'm not going to question the judgment just yet. I'll go watch the film. I'll come back with a more detailed, description or opinion on this quarterback situation. But this one shocked me. This one got me up out of my seat. I honestly wasn't going to even do any more draft things today because I was a little busy. But I saw quarterback drafted. Now I'm intrigued. Now you have my attention. I have to see what he can do. You just don't draft a quarterback in the 4th round to move up and get him if you don't think he has the potential to be, one of the best backups in the league in a couple years, maybe a potential starter. Who knows? But the Saints take quarterback Jake Haener, Fresno State. Ironically, that's where Derek Carr went as well. And we'll see what he can do. Let me know what y'all think about this pick in the comments below. As always, this is Taboo Tragedies, and I'm out.
So one last time, let's make him hear it. The greatest man